Are they tasty then? Gas pipes? Is that what he's saying? Yeah, go taste it yourself.
Or is the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry, he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress will perform a kiss scene with him,
For shame, madame, speaking thy fancy. I assure you, I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes. This is no summation examination. This is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponese friend's conjecture.
Oh.
To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips on the pipe that feeds it, he would have to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. Throws a cup, pours another, throws a cup. How many cups do you have on your fucking bench? These are empty assertions. There is no possible proof that the man did as you said. It's true. I have no proof that Mr. Shamsphere put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shamsphere has been doing something in front of that lamp on his wall. And I have evidence to prove it. Why did you smack your face? I don't know. Alright, you've got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself.
So would I. Let's see this evidence then.
Now that I've got the jury's ears, I need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that, time and time again, Mr. Shamsphere stood in front of the gas lamp. I hope they don't discount this because this is fucking using Holmes's fucking invention. What the? These are... Oh, wait. What are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene. Skin prints, counsel? I've never heard of such things. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however.
My lord, this is an exciting news for forensic techniques developed by the great detective Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It reveals all of the places that Mr. Shamsphere touched in his room.
I don't think that's accurate then, because there should be a lot more fingerprints, I'd imagine. I guess your hands don't fucking go around your entire room. There's probably parts of the walls that I've never touched, but still. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's black magic, isn't it? Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fella, that's for sure.
I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating.
We found skin prints in many places that you would expect. On the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shamsphere also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. You know what? What if he was doing push-ups against the wall? I think that was one of the ways that you can teach yourself to start doing push-ups, is doing it up against the wall. Maybe he was just doing it there. For example, here, or on the hanging picture there. Indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible.
Well, I wonder, could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps?
At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and you would find yourself directly in front of...
I don't believe it. The gas lamp.
Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shamsphere has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp. Damn it, I thought there was gonna be a secret behind that wall. Rat, what have you been up to, you nut? Oh, I've been lonely, so I wanted to make out with the lamp. I'd asked the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement.
Me? What did I say?
Oh girl, what the fuck? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in this entire building flicker. And now, if you'll record juror number 3's statement.
What? Me now?
When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights in the gas stove to go out, and gas start leaking into the rooms. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is, if Mr. Shamsphere were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will. Crikey!
Are you suggesting that the man purposefully caused the gas to...
Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination. I forgot about that. I must toast my learned friend's utter disregard for the letter of the law. What is the meaning of this, Lord Van Zieks? This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense, so-called skin prints. Clearly, that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case.
But what is exciting new forensic technique developed by a great detective?
It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. Certainly, even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence.
But... Please, my lord, if I may.
Mrs. Sato?
It was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene as a tool by which to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Oh yeah, turn that shit around, be like, oh, we're not presenting as evidence, we just wanted to show the results of an investigation by someone. It's not evidence, we're just showing you it.
And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree.
God, it's such a dirty trick, and yet...
You're right. Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide.
Like that time when Francisca did that, being like, oh, I'm not submitting this evidence as evidence. I'm just showing it so that it's burned into your mind, Judge. I forget what it was for. Oh, it was for the second case in Justice for All. I won't go into specifics, but I remember now. Juror number 3.
Oh yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation results sounds absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what the shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints.
Yeah, I want to know why he's making out with the lamp. Let's go. What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy. Well, I did say it, didn't I? I don't like to break a promise. No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not fair dinkum evidence. I didn't hear anything you said.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo.
More like well done, Susato. She's the one who brought it up.
If just one more juror changes his or her mind, Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue.
Thank you, Mrs. Sato. But I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success.
Susato's such a good kid! What are you doing? Why, Mrs. Shamspear? You seem to be losing your composure.
Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it!
Very well. Continue, counsel. With what? Oh shit, we ain't done. I'm a man of logic and haven't considered all the evidence. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm very interested by that boo. And the boo. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver around the city in the boo.
Ah, truth be told, I'll tell you my wife started off for me. It's a little sketchy at times. What? What is there to do? You want me to press? Can we please refrain from talk of gas? Oh. Is this the same stuff? Wait. Is there anything new to this? I did interrupt her before she finished because the guy was like, Let me see. Blah, blah, blah. When we visit, we always have to check whether or not one of those devious companies have been up to its tricks. I had no idea. It's almost unbelievable.
It might seem unbelievable to you, but it's happening all the time, right here in the capital. It's very difficult selling something you can't see, you know. Very difficult indeed.
Thank you. That will do. What? Oh, clearly this is a very involved subject. I feel we have digressed rather too much already. I concur. Though if my learned friend wishes to become an expert in gas, I believe the subject will suit him well. To your new career in nothingness. Are you rude? Thank you so much. We'll turn your attention to the next juror's assertions, please, counsel. Hmm? Susato had something she wanted to say to me. This is the salt thing, right? I don't think there's anything new here. Susato has something she wanted to say to me. Let me see. Let me see if I can talk to her. No. Susato was dotting about something. What was she dotting about? Is there maybe something I have to present? Wait, can you? You can't present anything. Oh, here. Okay, this is something different. All the evidence you say. That's right. And there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing to the Japanese man with the big mustache. Says the English man with the bigger mustache. This is considered new. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events of the night in question. What do you make of that? What? Your so-called skin prints?
It's an exciting new forensic investigation technique developed by the great detective himself.
Numerous handprints on the walls are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shamsphere has indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe on the night in question, it can't be denied that there's a possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes, I won't deny that's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly says, you should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides, yes, even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipes dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? Oh. You can't make your case better than that. I'm afraid I can't change my stance.
You do make a very valid point, sir.
What? Uh-oh.
That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty.
No, wait! Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohort can, that is. Just leave our nationality out of this, please.
Mr. Naruhodo, if we can't substantiate our position, I'm afraid the jurors will have changed their minds before very well. I'm afraid that the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back.
What can I do? Is there any more proof that I can give here? If you're asked, can I show that Mr. Shamsphere really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that Garrison. Because Garrison on multiple times has talked about the lights flickering, right? So it must have flickered at the time when
what was I saying? Garrett Deb has talked about the lights flickering multiple times. So I feel like if anything, he could be he could give supporting testimony that, you know, it happened, right? And if it happened, that must mean that someone was blowing into the pipes. Only question is, how do I do supporting testimony? The fact that it has that as an option must indicate that that's probably the way I would click, right? Because it's completely different than what you would normally do, like if you have evidence or not. I don't have. What happens if I press this? No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it. What's that? Testimony?
This is incredible. Whose testimony?
Yes, all connected. Everything is linked. A person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the Garadev's residence that night, namely. It's Garadev, right? Not Natsume? No, it's apparently wrong. Okay, he was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. Okay, whoops. Okay, it's fine. I think.
A witness who spoke about the gas on the night in question. Yes, there was someone.
Is it Natsume? About him feeling like he was choking? Because technically, I think Garadev has talked about it, but I guess what they were talking about wasn't what I was thinking of. I was thinking of the wrong thing. So let me go back and do Soseki Natsume. Okay. Is it him? Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume himself. The defendant. At the very beginning of the proceedings here in the court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following. Oh, I'm not gonna fucking remember this. My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings at my lodgings! Even on that fateful night, it happened when I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room. I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me! On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence, or not? Good golly! So that Shamspere fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose. Now hold your horses there. Why would he do that for? Because he's trying to kill him so he can take residence in that room. Mr. Foreman. What the? What is it, man? We cannot allow judgment to be passed while this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree. There is more to this case than meets the eye. Come on, Foreman, you're having fun here. Remember in the first case, you could have been a goner like that hat guy was. He hasn't shown up at all anymore. You've been hanging around. You want to be part of this, don't you? Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic, first and foremost. Epic! That's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord. We've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue. What if he does all that and she's like, the defense requests the trial to end. As the defense has rightfully indicated, summation examination has concluded with a majority of voters altering their decisions. 2 jury members now called guilty, 4 now called not guilty. Therefore, the jurors' opinions as conflicted and in accordance with the law of this land, I hereby order the continuation of this trial. Mr. William Shamspere. My lord, how can thy humble Shamspere serve thee? What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination? So God mend me, I do solemnly swear, I recall aught of either the lamp or the pipe. But handprints have been made a tiny mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh? I wish when he threw the bottle, instead of hearing it, like, shatter, you would just hear someone go, ow! I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5. Oh, me? As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from the self-professed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. Ah! As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains, at this time, unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that. I hope not Shakespeare, what's his name? I hope Sherlock comes out at some point being like, hey, no, we're good. But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding that lamp into Mr. Shamspere's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there, what appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in that tea, some remnants of tea were required. Yes? Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have been completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. Ugh! I didn't think of that. There's probably some remnants of it somewhere, like on the outside. In any case, counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you described. Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air into the gas pipework where he lived? There's only one possibility that I can think of. And that is, to use the leaking gas to commit murder. Let's go! I mean, well, let's not go with the murder thing, but you know, let's go! Order! Counsel! Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end? The answer couldn't be simpler. Now we've unraveled the mystery thus far. Mr. Shamspere wanted to end the life of... If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing. I live around those parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove is pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time. Mr. Garadeb, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamsphere was trying to end. Outrageous! I'm talking about, of course, about the defendant. And Natsume was being so nice. He came over to give you some nice tea, talk to you about the Shakespeare you love so much, if you even really love it. You could be faking it for the sake of trying to worm your way into lodgings. But like, gosh. Poor Natsume, man. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder. Oh, gracious. Bad. The accused is actually the aggrieved, interesting. However, fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question then arises, who put it there? Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill. Surely the fucking Altamont gas company didn't like put poison in there when they went to check on him, right? Because they know that he was stealing. Surely not, right? Right? Yes, that would indeed seem logical. The assailants were unaware. How would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison? So now we must ask, how could anyone have known of Mr. Shamspeare's murderous designs?
You mean to suggest...
Naturally, sole possible answer to that question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Whatever Mr. William Shakespeare may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could possibly have perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. Oh no, we're about to hit another summation examination. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly?
Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond! Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leanings against us again. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage.
Just look towards her like, I'm trying to sleep. What advantage?
Well, it would seem that somebody put poison in the gas pipe in Mr. Shamspeare's room. So we must name that person now, and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt.
You mean, name the true culprit? Am I gonna name the B-man?
I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all.
As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison, it's all pointing to a particular person now. Am I right in thinking what I'm thinking? The prosecution calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. What? Oh, what? No, don't you worry. We know exactly what... There's one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime. true culprit. Term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives by Nipponese friend. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already. I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax. Thank you. Don't thank him. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? Is he in here? He is in here. Like, it can't be her because she wouldn't go out of her way to fucking breathe into it. I mean, who wouldn't go and visit someone's house, right? It has to be him. Is it not right? You claim this person is a true culprit. Highly suspicious, I would say, yeah. Oh, damn it, that's wrong! Damn it! Fine. Are we gonna fucking pin it on the lady then? It has to be... She even mentions in her bio that the gas theft is unforgivable, so it has to be her, right? Miss Naruhodo, please, you must concentrate! I was trying to. Then, you must concentrate harder! Harsh. Who was the so-called culprit of the crime? No, it's wrong! Who is it then? How is it not one of them? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? So it's not one of them. I really thought it was gonna be one of them being like, yo, you stealing our gas, we're gonna kill you. Not these two. Him? No. Is it Shamspear himself? Like, what? Who got? Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I don't wanna die! Like, who is it supposed to be? Damn it, I thought I was so smart. Shit. It didn't work! I don't- okay, let me alone, hold up. You could just say I should just get a game over to see what it's like, but I don't want to do that. I can't say him! It's not him, it's not him. Not him, it's not him. Him. It's like, who is this man that you just presented? He's never even come up in conversation. I'm just presenting everyone at this point. What?! Huh?! How would she have got in the house?! The letter? But how would she have gotten in the house? I don't understand! The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspears, I believe. Miss Olive Green. Miss Olive Green. Miss Olive Green. What? I do feel as though I've heard that name in the recent past, Council, but I don't recall where. Miss Olive Green? A woman from 6 days ago. What? Victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. Okay, so the idea is that the letter that we found, or rather the envelope, the ripped envelope that we found, the ripped piece of envelope that we found in Shamspear's room indicates that she was there. Fine. How would she have put the poison there, though? And why was there no mention? Oh, did she find out? Did she find out how her lover got killed? Is that why? I still don't understand how she would have. Unless the key that she's been holding is the key to one of the rooms. And then she did it when they were out or something. He was out. Yo. Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe. But she should regain consciousness 2 days ago. And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shamspear's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True. On the night that incident occurred, Miss Green was in the hospital unconscious. So on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible. But still, my colleagues and I visited Miss Green at the hospital yesterday. We found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison. Lord gracious, she had poison? Is that the same poison that was used to... There's another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court. Tell me, Mr. Shamspeare.
My lord, pray what be thy bidding?
Are you acquainted with Miss Green? No, never heard of her.
Judging by the look of Mr. Shamspeare's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least, not by name.
As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friend's farce through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. Wow, you're so kind. Prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here. It does seem weird that you would be okay with doing this, considering that there isn't really that much of a tie of her with him. But okay. Yes, Miss Olive Green. Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient. Very well. I grant the request.
Excellent.
I hope. The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned. Okay. Well, I see no reason to stop. I will continue on to figure out what Olive Green has done or how she did it, honestly. I would be much more curious to know how she did it.